What's good, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, man. My name's Steve Tequila. I appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I've been continuing along with my competitive queue adventures in Season 9. So far, I'm on pace to play a lot more ranked than I did in previous seasons. I only get to play like 1 or 2 games at a time, but at the moment I'm hopping on playing a warm-up game and then playing 1 or 2 ranked games, just depending on how long my son naps. I work from home. Obviously, I have a newborn as well. You know, so my time ebbs and flows on how much I can play, but I've been playing a lot of Bastion currently in the damage hero. Obviously that's a massive change for me in previous seasons. I usually just spam Moira, but I kind of just wanted to go over how I feel like you should be playing Bastion in Season 9, just based on some of like the high level guides that I've been watching, some of the different, I don't know, some of the different streamers, some of the different tier lists, just a compilation of what I've been seeing, and also some of my own personal experiences in the amount of time that I've played. So, you know, I've obviously played hundreds of hours of Overwatch at this point. Most of it is quick plays. That's because it's a lot easier for me mentally to walk away from a quick play game if I need to grab my son or something, or if I need to take a work call. I don't like leaving my teammates hanging in a constant game, so I avoid doing that. But anyways, I'm enjoying playing Bastion. He has a very high damage output. Obviously, he has a massive amount of health with a good portion of it being armor, so you can consider him to be like an off-tank of sorts. He commands a lot of attention, and the fact that he's obviously a big target, a big hitbox. It's very attractive for people to try to attack him. He's also able to put out a massive amount of damage in a short amount of time. He can dominate poke with his normal form. He's very good up close and like a brawl comp with his third form. Although you do have to, you know, be wary to not just spam your cooldown on that. You want to use it in advantageous situations. But yeah, you want to play obviously very aggressive. You can be comfortable playing off of your tank and your supports on Bastion. He doesn't have much self-sustain, you know what I mean? You can see I decimate the Zenyatta here, we blow through the tank, getting ready to pick off the Widowmaker as well, and that's our play of the game. Quite beautiful, to be honest with you. You can see that I kept peeking back and forth between the main entrance that my team was at, and then the little side entrance as well. I was still close enough to my team to where I could receive support if I needed it, to where I could disengage if I needed to, but I could also continue to apply pressure from a slightly different angle, and then I could also, you know, go behind my tank to refresh with my supports if I need to as well. So I think the main thing to keep in mind with Bastion is your positioning. You obviously want to have damn near immaculate positioning on Bastion. You want to focus on applying the DPS passive to as many targets as frequently as possible. You obviously have multiple avenues to be able to apply that passive, so take full advantage of that. Not only is he hard to kill unless you can focus him down and get him soloed, he's hard to kill, he's able to put out a massive amount of damage, and he's also able to reduce the amount of healing that the entire team has, you know what I mean? So you want to take advantage of all of that. You want to pay attention to when you're using your turret form. Obviously, I heard the big fat footsteps getting ready to come around the corner. Went ahead and popped that. Getting ready to abuse a slightly high ground off angle right here. They're obviously looking at the main door at first for some reason. This is an instance where it is perfectly acceptable for me to stay behind Reinhardt. Obviously, Ryan has, you know, 650 health or so. He's got his big shield as well, so why not just stay behind him and pepper away? You can see that the Alari's in ult, but she almost dies. I don't overextend trying to chase the 1 kill here because I still want to make sure that I'm maintaining an aggressive position and being able to support my team. I didn't even know that her little healing turret was right there, but obviously when you're in turret form and that close to hit your shots, there's almost no way that an enemy can stay alive through that. The DPS that he provides is just insane. This was the warm-up game that I played yesterday prior to hopping on Comp Q. I ended up winning 3 straight, so that was nice. Obviously, you can tell that we steamrolled this lobby, but it was it was a good enough time length for me to talk about the objectives that I wanted to talk about and how I think you should be playing them, while also showcasing what happens when you play extremely aggressive and coordinated. You know what I mean? I do think that Bastion is a very good tank or a very good DPS this season, and he's quite literally a tank though, so I'm not wrong for saying that. He can fill like the off-tank niche, you know what I mean? if you even believe in that aspect, that terminology. But he's able to put out a lot of damage. And in this season, high damage is king. You know what I mean? Obviously, I think Tracer, Sombra, and even Sojourn probably dominate the meta. Bastion is a lot less click intensive, a lot less movement intensive, and therefore requires a lot less IQ and fluidity to be really good. You know what I mean? I think that Bastion is a quote unquote easy brain dead pick. I can more or less not necessarily shut my brain off, because then I'll go back in the habits of trying to flank and off angle too much. But for lack of a better phrase, yeah, I can kind of shut my brain off and just sit in the back, abuse natural cover, work with my tank depending on what tank I have, stay close enough to my supports, pick up the occasional health pack, and just rack up a large amount of damage. The more damage you can do on Bastion, the better chance you have of winning. Obviously, in most seasons prior to this, just dumping a bunch of bullets into your tank isn't recommended. And in this season, if you're able to, kill the squishies, if you're able to see the supports or see the damage dealers, in your line of sight, then obviously go ahead and take advantage of that, do as much damage to them as possible. But if the tank wants to play stupid games, they're going to win stupid prizes, you know what I mean? The DPS passive is almost like a miniature anti-grenade, you know what I mean? And obviously it doesn't prevent all heals altogether, but reducing 20% of heals is pretty massive, and with as much damage as Bastion is able to put out, it's pretty insane. So I think, again, the main things to focus on with Bastion is your positioning. You can take slight off angles, but you're not really going to flank on Bastion, because if you flank, then you can just get caught out by yourself. But taking slight off angles, making the enemy team try to jiggle aim back and forth between you and the rest of your team, but also staying close enough to your team to where you're able to receive the support and you're able to support them as well. You want to have as much of a high damage uptime as you can. And what I mean by a high damage uptime is the entire game you want to be doing damage. Almost doesn't matter who you're doing damage to. Obviously, you do have target priority to keep in mind. You want to kill your supports. Like Zenyatta is going to be highest focus. If a Tracer's blinking around in your background, you do have to try to take out the Tracer a little bit. You have to try to focus on the Lucio a little bit as well. But really, as long as you're doing damage, then you're doing pretty good on Bastion. I think that's why he's enjoyable for me to play this season, especially 80% of my time in Overwatch has been played in the support role. Playing damage this season is going to be a little bit different, but with all of the different changes and stuff, I feel like damage is a much more impactful role than before. I enjoyed playing support before because I almost felt like it was like the glue of the team. Obviously, you could argue that would be tank. There's only one tank. If your tank is good, then you have a much better chance of winning. If your tank is bad, it's a lot harder to carry. But previous seasons, I felt like support really could do a lot, especially on the supports that I was playing, Moira and Kiriko. This season, I definitely think that the damage is like the supreme role in terms of being able to dictate the flow of the match. You can see here that we absolutely steamrolled this team. Obviously, we won across the board at all roles, but it was 22-0 with 8k damage. I mean, I had almost as much damage as their entire team put together in just, a 4 or 5 minute match. So, feels really good, man. Maintain aggression. Try to keep shooting as much as possible. Use your ultimate for zoning. It's a lot easier to dodge because most of the characters have some form of mobility. It's also, I think it received an indirect nerf of sorts because everybody has a larger health pool, so it's a lot harder to actually blow people up with it. But it is good for just providing some extra damage during a team fight. It's also good for forcing enemies off of the payload in those like overtime situations and stuff. I personally need to get better at using it at the correct time and my placement of the ult, but that'll take time. I've got X amount of games on Bastion. I obviously need to get a lot more, but a lot of the information that I'm spitting out to you is obviously regurgitated from other high level streamers and stuff that I watch as well. I'm a huge consumer of information. I might not be able to play as much as I'd like to at the moment, but I do get to watch quite a lot of streams and quite a lot of guide videos, quite a lot of top 500 and champion plays. So yeah, man, if you're if you're looking for if you're looking for the absolute highest level player to give you information, sorry, that's not me. I know somebody asked me in my last video, which by the way did very well, so thank you guys for that. Somebody asked me in my last little Moira guide video, they can't tell if this guy is serious or not. And that's a great question, man. That's a really great question, because I don't know either. I don't know either. I play for enjoyment. I play for my vibes. I play to enjoy my life. You know what I mean? I'm very happy gaming. For those of you who don't know, I have a form of lymphoma. I've been on chemo for a little while now, so I've had to take massive steps back from playing competitive rugby, and gaming is a positive outlet of my emotions of sorts. I'm able to channel my aggression and my aspirations into gaming as much as I'm able to, at least, you know what I mean? So anyways, a bit of an explanation for those of you who don't know if I'm serious or not, because I don't know either. You know what I mean? Some games I try to sweat my ass off. Some nights I log in, like last night I logged in, I didn't play any comp queue at all. I wasn't able to get on until like 9:45 at night. Had a very long day, and I just practiced on Tracer for like, I don't know, 6 or 7 games, and I only played quick play as I'm trying to get better at timing my blinks, positioning my blinks as well. But anyways, I feel like Bastion is really good. Abuse him if you're on a brawl team. If you're on a poke team, he's really good as well. If you have a Lucio to speed boost you, you can play him into a rush comp. I think he's very good at counter dive. Obviously, if you have a Winston or a Diva trying to dive you, don't just instantly blow your terraform. Use it when you feel like you have the most kill potential. Either when you're inside of their bubble with them, if they don't have their jump back out for a few seconds and they're already low health, then you can use it then. But what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to bait your terraform out, so that way you lose a lot of your kill potential. So be wary of when you use your terraform, but you can play counter dive really effectively on Bastion. I wouldn't recommend necessarily playing him with a dive comp. Like if you have a Winston and a Tracer, and then Zenyatta, Lucio, probably not the best there. Soldier is very similar playstyle, but probably a bit more bang for your buck because he has more mobility and more self-sustain as well. Bastion can just get caught out really easy. But if you have a Brig with you, it could work, because you and the Brig could work to play off of each other. Brig and Bastion are both, in my mind, like off tanks. Obviously, Brig has her shield, Bastion has armor and a large health pool. So you can make it work in some team comps. I'm going to personally try to get a lot better at Tracer this season. Tracer's probably going to be the next video that I put out. I'd like that to be the case. We'll see what actually happens. I'm enjoying, in my mind, making these little how to play X character guides, because not only is it good content, it's enjoyable for me to make because I'm having to do a lot of research. I'm having to watch a lot of videos outside of games and then try to apply that to my games, and then articulate that information as well. So I hope you enjoy these types of videos, man. I enjoy making them. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you. I love you. I hope you have a wonderful day, man. Like and subscribe if you aren't already. Stay safe. Peace.